Assalamualaikum and good morning to Dr. Ardianti and fellow classmate. We are from Group 4 and today we would like to present about Malaysia roadmap towards zero single-use plastic. So this is our group member.
To begin, I will start with the introduction. Plastic pollution has become one of the major global environmental challenges in recent years due to the rapid increase in the productions and consumption of a single-use plastic. The production of the plastic has grown significantly since the 1950s century because plastic is versatile, durable and cost-effective. However, most plastics are single-use items and are discarded immediately after the being used. It is estimated that only around 9% of the plastic waste worldwide has been recycled, while the remaining plastic waste continues to contribute to environmental degradations. In Malaysia, plastic pollution has become more serious as the country is ranked among the top countries with mismanaged plastic waste. Research shows that Malaysia generates around 0.94 million tons of the plastic waste, with a significant amount entering the marine ecosystem and oceans. This situation poses a serious threat to Malaysia. To address this issue, the Malaysia government, through the Ministry of the Energy, Science, Technology, Environmental and Climate Change, also known as a MASTEC, introduced the roadmap towards zero single-use plastic of 2018 to 2030 as a national framework to reduce the use of the single-use plastic in Malaysia.
The first policy problem is increasing plastic waste pollution. The use of single-use plastic such as plastic bottle, plastic bag and food packaging has increased rapidly because they are cheap and convenient to use. However, most of these plastic are thrown away after one use, which causes a large amount of plastic waste to accumulate in the environment. According to Jambeck et al. 2015, a significant amount of plastic waste is not properly managed and eventually ends up in river and ocean. Plastic also take a very long time to decompose, which cause long-term pollution and harms our environment. For example, plastic waste can be often seen in river, drains and beaches in Malaysia, showing that plastic pollution has become a serious problem.
I will move to the second policy problem. One of the major policy problems is the lack of awareness and unsustainable consumption habits among the public. Although plastic pollution is widely discussed, many individuals still do not practice sustainable consumption in their daily life. Firstly, public awareness regarding plastic pollution is still moderate. According to Latif et al. 2016, many Malaysians are aware of plastic waste issues, but their participation in reducing plastic use and environmental campaigns remains low. This shows that awareness alone is not enough to change behavior. Secondly, awareness of plastic, of microplastic and their impacts is still limited. ADS et al. 2024 found that many individuals do not fully understand the effects of microplastic on the environment and human health. Due to this limited understanding, people do not feel a strong urgency to change their behavior. Thirdly, convenience and low cost continue to encourage the excessive use of single-use plastic. Kumar et al. 2017 explained that plastic products are preferred because they are cheap, easy to access and convenient to use. As a result, unsustainable consumption habits have become part of daily routine. Lastly, public participation in recycle and waste reduction activities remains inconsistent. While some individuals actively support environmental initiatives, others remain least involved because of low motivation and limited environmental responsibility.
I will move to the last policy problem, which is low recycling rates of plastic waste. The main issue is that most plastic waste, especially single-use plastic like plastic bag, food packaging, polystyrene containers and straw, are not being recycled properly. Many plastics are difficult and expensive to recycle, so they are often thrown away. One reason for this problem is poor waste segregation. Many people do not separate recyclables and non-recyclable waste correctly, causing recyclable plastic to become contaminated. Besides that, recycling company usually focus only on variable plastic while low-value plastics are ignored. For example, plastic takeaway container used by restaurants and street vendors are usually thrown into normal rubbish bin. Since these plastics are hard to recycle, they often end up in landfills, rivers, and sea. In conclusion, low recycling rates in Malaysia can cause environmental pollution and harm marine life. Therefore, better recycling systems and public awareness are important to reduce this plastic waste.
The first policy objective is to reduce the use of plastic, especially single-use plastic. The government aims to encourage people to reduce their dependence on plastic products and adopt more environmentally friendly practice. By reducing plastic usage, the amount of waste produced can also be decreased, which help protect our environment and natural resources. According to the Ministry of Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change 2018, reducing plastic consumption is important for achieving sustainable environmental management. For example, people encouraged to bring reusable shopping bags instead of using plastic bag when shopping. This simple habit can help reduce the amount of plastic waste generated in over time.
Next, I will move to the second policy objective. One of the main policy objectives is to increase public awareness and encourage sustainable consumption behavior toward reducing single-use plastic. This objective is important because plastic pollution continues to threaten the environment, marine ecosystem, and human health. Firstly, increased public awareness is essential in helping individuals understand the environmental impact of plastic waste. According to MDPI 2023, individuals with greater environmental knowledge are more likely to practice sustainable behavior such as reducing plastic use and choosing environmentally friendly products. Secondly, sustainable consumption behavior can be encouraged through education and social influence. Based on the theory of planned behavior discussed in Science Direct 2024, human behavior is influenced by attitudes, social norms, and perceived control. This means that people are more likely to reduce plastic use when society support environmentally responsible practice and sustainable available. Thirdly, the Malaysia government introduced communication, education and public awareness is CEPA programs under the roadmap to tour zero single-use plastic 2018 to 2030. These programs aim to educate the public, encourage responsible consumption, and increase participation in reducing plastic waste. Lastly, several behavior initiatives have been introduced in Malaysia to support this objective. For example, the No Straw by Default program only provides plastic straw upon request, helping to reduce unnecessary plastic use. In addition, supermarkets impose charges on plastic bags to encourage consumers to bring reusable bags. These initiatives show how policy change can positively influence consumer behavior towards sustainability.
Now, I will continue explaining the third policy objective, which is increasing the national recycling rates of public waste in Malaysia. Currently, many plastic waste are still not recycled and end up in landfills or polluted the environment. This happens because of the recycling activities and facilities are still limited, especially for the low-value plastic. To improve the recycling rates, better waste collection systems are needed. More recycle bins and residue collections service can help to reduce this plastic waste in the landfills. Besides that, waste separations at homes and office is also important. People should separate plastic from other waste so recyclable materials stay clean and easier to process. Malaysia also should expand the types of plastic that can be recycled or not recycled, not only for PET bottles but also plastic bags, food wrappers, and polystyrene containers by using better recycling technology. Lastly, by improving this recycling system, it can reduce the pollutions, protect the marine life, and create a cleaner environment for the future.
The first policy strategies is introducing plastic alternative. This strategy promote the use of environmentally friendly materials such as paper bag, biodegradable plastic, and reusable product to replace conventional plastic product. Biodegradable plastic can decompose more easily compared to normal plastic, which help reduce long-term environmental pollution. In addition, paper bag are encouraged because they can break down naturally within a shorter period and are also considered more sustainable. According to the United Nations Environment Programme 2018, using alternative material is one of the effective way to reduce plastic pollution and encourage sustainable consumption. For example, many supermarket now encourage customer to use reusable bag or provide paper bag instead of using plastic bag. So this strategy help reduce dependence on plastic product and support environmental sustainable.
Next, I will move to the second policy strategy. One of the important policy strategy in reducing single-use plastic is the implementation of communication, education and public awareness or CEPA programs. This program focuses on educating the public and increase awareness about sustainable consumption and environmental protection. Firstly, CEPA program help people understand the negative impact of plastic pollution on the environment and human health. Research findings show that many Malaysians still have limited awareness and knowledge regarding environmental issues, which contribute to unsustainable behavior. Therefore, education and awareness campaigns are important in guiding the public toward more responsible action. Secondly, education campaigns encourage positive environmental behavior and recycle practice. CEPA initiatives do not only provide information but also help change people's attitudes and daily habits by teaching the importance of reducing plastic use and recycling. These programs can influence individuals to adopt more sustainable lifestyle. Thirdly, public awareness has a direct influence on behavior change. Based on the knowledge, the attitude behavior model discussed in Science Direct 2024, people are more likely to reduce plastic pollution when they understand the issue and feel responsible for taking action. This show that awareness campaign should provide practical and action and actionable information, not just general knowledge. Lastly, several CEPA initiatives have already been implemented in Malaysia. For example, the No Straw by Default campaign in food established helps reduce unnecessary plastic straw use. In addition, campaigns encourage the use of reusable shopping bags, promote sustainable consumption habits among consumers. This initiative demonstrate how CEPA program can positively influence public behavior and support environmental sustainability.
The last policy strategy is strengthen the recycling infrastructure and facility in Malaysia. One of the main reasons why plastic recycling remain low is because of the recycling facilities and technology are still inadequate. Many low value and single plastics are not recycled properly and end up in landfills and polluted the environment. Many To improve the situation, the government should invest in more recycling facilities and upgrade the existing one with a better technology and automation system. This can help to improve the sorting and the recycling process. In addition, more recycling and efficient waste collection system should be provided in residential and businesses area. Proper sorting can reduce contaminations and make plastics easier to recycle. Malaysia also should expand recycling facility to the smaller towns, not only big city like Kuala Lumpur and Shah Alam, because this can ensure that um, recycling service are available across the country. So lastly, the stronger recycling infrastructure can increase the recycling rates, reduce pollutions and support sustainable waste management in Malaysia.
Now, we move to the policy evaluation, which is the pastel aspect. On the political aspect, the policy can be considered moderately successful. The government shows a strong commitment by establishing a structured governance system through a joint ministerial committee that coordinates implementations at the national levels. This improves the policy directions, accountabilities, and collaborations between the agencies. In addition, both federal and state governments are involved, allowing the policy to be implemented nationwide. The roadmap also follows a phased implementation from 2018 to 2030, showing a systematic and a long-term approach to policy execution. However, because a governance is decentralized, there are differences in enforcements across the state. For example, variations in timelines such as a plastic bag charge create gaps in implementations which reduce overall effectiveness. Therefore, while the policy is well designed, enforcement is only moderately successful. For the economic aspect, the policy is also moderately successful but comes with the significant challenges. The plastic industry remains as an important contributor to Malaysia's economy, especially in the petrochemical and plastic value chain. This industry generates a high revenue, investment and export value, making it highly competitive globally. However, moving towards biodegradables and environmentally friendly alternative requires a high financial investment and may disrupt the industrial structures. In addition, the higher cost of the sustainable materials compared to the conventional plastic can burden the business, especially small and medium enterprise, as well as a consumer. Although there is a potential for a green economic growth, the economic impact is still limited by financial constraint and dependent on the existing plastic industry. For the social aspect, the policy is considered weak to moderately successful. The communications, education and a public awareness program has helped increase awareness about the plastic pollutions and responsible consumptions of behaviors. However, behavioral change among the public is still limited. Recycling rates remains very low, with only about 9% globally, and Malaysia also has a poor recycling culture. The use of the single-use plastic is still common due to the convenience and habitual lifestyle. This shows that awareness alone is not enough to create a significant behavioral change without a stronger enforcement and incentive.
Now we move to the next part, which is legal aspect. For the legal aspect, the government has introduced policies such as plastic bag charge and the no straw by default policy to reduce plastic usage. The roadmap also involves cooperation between federal and state governments to strengthen regulation and improve sustainability. However, enforcement remains weak because implementation differ across state and some business prioritize profit over compliance with the regulations. So, the last one is the environmental perspective. From the environmental perspective, the roadmap aims to reduce plastic pollution and protect the environment, especially marine ecosystem. It also promotes sustainable waste management and raise public awareness about reducing plastic consumption. Despite this, the policy still face challenges because Malaysia's recycling rate is low and many people still practice improper waste disposal. Now we move to the next part, which is legal aspect. For the legal aspect, the government has introduced policies such as plastic bag charge and the no straw by default policy to reduce plastic usage. The roadmap also involves cooperation between federal and state governments to strengthen regulation and improve sustainability. However, enforcement remains weak because implementation differ across state and some business prioritize profit over compliance with the regulations. And now we move to the last part, which is environmental perspective. The roadmap aims to reduce plastic pollutions and protect the environment, especially marine ecosystem. It also promotes sustainable waste management and raise public awareness about reducing plastic consumption. Despite this, the policy still faces challenges because Malaysia's recycling rate is low and many people still practicing improper waste disposal, such as littering and excessive
use of single-use plastic.
Next, I will explain the policy recommendations for improving a plastic waste management in Malaysia. Firstly, a stronger nationwide enforcement is needed. Currently, differences in implementations and enforcement between the state may reduce the effectiveness of the policy. Therefore, Malaysia needs a standardized system so that all states follow the same rules. This will improve the coordinations, reduce the policy gaps, and ensures more consistent enforcement across the country. Secondly, the government should provide a financial incentive to support the use of environmentally friendly alternatives. Biodegradable products are more expensive compared to conventional plastic. So, support such as subsidies, tax reductions, or grants can help boost business and consumers. This approach can also encourage the growth of a green industry. Thirdly, Malaysia should invest in improving a recycling system. The current recycling rate is still low due to limited infrastructures and technology. By introducing a modern system such as automated waste sorting and advanced recycling technology, waste management efficiency can be improved significantly. And lastly, stronger behavioral change strategies are needed. Although awareness programs like CEPA exist, more effective long-term campaigns are required to reduce the dependence on a single-use plastic. This includes promoting a sustainable habits and encouraging the active participation from the community.
The Malaysia Roadmap towards Zero Single-Use Plastic is a comprehensive and well-structured environmental policy. The policy combines legal regulation, technological innovation, and environmental protection strategy to support long-term sustainability in Malaysia. However, there are still several challenges that reduce the effectiveness of the policy implementation. Among the main issues are weak enforcement, the high cost of eco-friendly alternative, limited recycling technology, and low public awareness regarding plastic waste management. In addition, inconsistent implementation across different states also affect the overall impact of the policy. Overall, the roadmap has strong potential to achieve its goal of reducing single-use plastic and creating a cleaner and more sustainable environment in Malaysia by 2030. However, its success will depend on stronger law enforcement, better recycling system, affordable green technology, and greater public participation.
That's all from our group. Thank you.